All power derives from the same place. The universe, universal power. Power is none other than energy that can do work. As that energy descends through you and me as human beings, that is our ability to do work in this world. And the more we can tap into, soften the constrictions that make us react to all that's gone on in 2017 and will surely continue in 2018, the more that natural energy flows and manifests through your hands and feet. So I love Jill Bolt Taylor's observation, the power of the universe with manual dexterity. That's what we are.
One piece of light, which I'd like to start off with, is just my gratitude that this conversation is happening. Because I feel that in the early moments of the integral community, there was some hesitation to really address a power analysis. And because most of my friends are social activists, we were wondering, like, why is this not coming into our community? And seeing, green activists being turned off the integral community because we didn't have one. And I understand why we didn't. I mean, I remember in my own being choosing not to grapple with a power analysis because all we really had was a green one, and it was shrill and irritating, and yet it's really important. And so 2013 at the Integral Theory Conference, we started a bit of a conversation around this, and really making the point that washing one's hands of the conflict between the powerful and the powerless means to side with the powerful. It doesn't mean to be neutral. And that's, I think, in our integral community, that's what we're being called out for, is having not done this yet. And great that we're doing it now. So,
great.
When you look deeply at any social or global issue, and you really feel called to respond, after you start thinking about it for a while, it always comes down to a fundamental question: what can I do? It may start off as, well, they should do this, and the politicians should, but it always comes back to, what can I do? And then beyond that, it comes back to, what's the most strategic thing I can do? So, bringing our integral perspective into play here, it's important to recognize the challenges of power and powerlessness we're working with are both stage and state specific. That is, a sense of powerlessness is specific to egoic states and to pre-transpersonal stages of development. In unitive states, the separate self-sense dissolves, and with it the sense of power or powerlessness. You have to feel separate before you can feel that you are manipulating something or unable to do so. So the conventional sense of power and powerlessness is actually based on a sense of separation. And there's a sense of, and yet when one moves, and I'm sure a lot of people here, I'm sure, have had tastes of those unitive states. In those states, there's clearly a recognition that the assumption that I'm doing anything is an illusion, that actually there is only one power, call it the Tao, call it God, call it the one mind, or the whole, and that power acts through us. And that power is experienced as boundless and unimpeded, because what is there it could be in conflict with. So, yet activity still occurs through us, but it's experienced as a spontaneous, non-volitional flow.
If those of you who remember the first Republican debate, when they were all up there, 16 or 17 of them, do you remember the very first question? The very first question is, who up here pledges to support whoever is the nominee? And everybody raised their hand but Trump. And I remember, we had a group of people in the living room. I remember pausing the television at that point and singing Hail to the Chief. It was just so exciting to me to see somebody who would actually be willing to do that. And then just the Little Marco and Lion Ted and Crooked Hillary and all of the stuff that it was completely disqualifying. But it wasn't. And so the lesson I got is how active and how effective red still is, actually. If you really just want to get in there and dominate, the rest of us will kind of let you. And that's sort of it's sort of a weakness in the higher levels. And I think we're all getting hip to this red power, and in a way, it's an invitation for all of us to reintegrate our own red power. And that is good. I'm glad. I feel a little more free, actually, after this year, to be an asshole sometimes.